Hey guys, and welcome back to the Devine Witch. So today we're going to do a little bit of makeup and magic. And what exactly does that mean? So I had an idea that came to me in a previous video that you guys probably seen when I was talking about whatever it was. I can't even remember now. But I had the idea that I would do my makeup, and as I do it, we can have magical discussions. So without further ado, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, check the description down below for anything that I reference, and let's go ahead and let's dive in. So, the first thing that we're going to need to do is get some hair clippies. If you don't got them, put it up in a bun. The only reason I got it is because I got this new hair cutting kit, and it came with it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use this for when I do my makeup, so that way my hair is out of the way, which, by the way, I'm working on making my hair a little bit healthier. I'm trying to learn my curl texture, what works for it. It's been a whole journey. But I want to first and foremost thank Starfire Queen, because you did inspire me for this video. So, as I told you guys, we're going to do makeup and magic, right? So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing with this series. As we dive into it, I'm going to be doing my makeup, and we're going to be discussing things. Now, by the way, I'm not a makeup artist, nor will I ever be, but I'm just going to do my normal routine because I've got readings I'm going to do later. So I'm like, I need to be somewhat decent, or at least try to. Now, I'm not even going to lie. There's just been a lot going on the last couple weeks. And honestly, I think we all get into that point where we want to do our makeup, but then we don't because, you know, our mind just kind of weighs us down, and you know, it's fucking 2021 and it still hasn't really gotten better, but it's somewhat getting better, I guess. Anyway, that's beside the point. So today what I wanted to talk to you guys about was talking about when people lay their hands on you. So, and I'm not talking about in the fighting sense. You know, when we talk about any spirituality, we've all heard the term of, oh, they laid their hands upon me for healing. Well, at least I know I have. If you never heard of it, look it up. It's a whole thing. Right? And it got me thinking when I was watching Starfire earlier, because she brings it up, and I'm like, you know, I've heard this all my life, because when I was younger, my aunt would take me to all these different churches, and you know, some were decent, some were questionable, some I liked, and some just gave me the vibes of get the fuck out. But, you know, when you're younger, you can't really be like, hey, I want to get the fuck out of here, and people listen to you. Especially back in the 90s, because no one was fucking listening to a kid in the 90s. Anyway, so, you know, there's this thing of, we always talk about energy, and we talk about being able to manifest things within our lives. By the way, I use CoverGirl Clean 110. That's what I was using here. And I'm going to be using LA Colors Nude BPP261. So if you're trying to keep up, I don't know why, but I figured, you know, the makeup part, right? So as I was saying, you know, it got me really thinking about it as far as, you know, allowing people's energy to be on us. And, you know, we always accept hugs from people, you know, when someone dies, even though maybe, you know, we may not like them, or we hug people or shake people's hands just out of courtesy, not to seem rude. But in reality, we're setting ourselves up to get fucked up. And here's what I mean. And I kind of want to thank Starfire once again, because, you know, I feel like this is something that no one really goes in depth. They just say, don't let them put their hands on you. And here's a little bit why. But I want to go into a deep dive of my experience as to why you should watch who you let touch you. First off, some attachments, such as demonic attachments, can be transferred from one person to another. And that's something that's not really talked about that much unless you really deep dive, do your homework, or in the demonology community, or maybe come from a Catholic or Christian background, and you might have heard about it a couple times here and there. But It is something transference. We watch all these movies and we see all this stuff, but we never talk about what is transference. How can it happen? There's some entities that you can't get rid of by cleansing. You have to actually pass it on to someone else. So, if someone's laying their hands on you, whether you're going through a time or, you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, you got shit going on in your house and you're like, why the fuck is this happening? And this could be the reason why. Some of you might even sit there and think after I say this and go, you know what? Son of a bitch. And you can't really blame people because some people don't know and some people do know. And the ones that do know, you're just an asshole. I get it. You want to get rid of it and you want to transfer it to something or someone. Which realistically, depending upon the animal, there was a belief used in the Greek times, and I believe, if I'm right, I may be wrong, there was also some in the Norse where they would transfer an entity into an animal. Now, from a Greek's perspective, it was normally a goat, like a white goat. And that goat would be slaughtered and then it would go where the fuck ever, right? But that's just one way. Now, if we look at certain entities, if you're trapping them or something like that, there's a lot of different methods, but that's for a different video. You know what I mean? So when it comes to people and their energies, you got to think about it. So let's say you go visit a friend or you're around someone that you love and you care about and they're just kind of going through it. You know what I mean? We all have those moments where we kind of just go through things in life and, certain energies will fuck us up. It's kind of like walking into a room after somebody has like an argument and you can just feel the tension in the air and hey, something's up, right? It's kind of the same thing when we're dealing with people who we're not really sure about where they lie with their energy. Because let's be realistic. A motherfucker can look you in the face and be like, hey, I like you. In reality, be talking shit and wishing death upon you or wishing you to get hurt or, whatever it may be. So, when we talk about, healing and we talk about people offering, their energy to help you out or to pray for you, no matter, what spiritual belief system you believe in, you're opening yourself up to that person and you're also trusting that person. Now, if you're not trusting of that person, why the hell are you, one, letting them touch you? Why are you even around them? Manifestation happens in many ways. And normally when we're vulnerable, especially in periods of, where we're lost or maybe after a death or after a loss of a job or an animal or anything, our defenses are kind of low because realistically our mind is so busy. We're not really fucking thinking about, hey, someone could attack me, someone could put something on me. We're just thinking, the human reaction of, I need someone to hold me. I need someone to be there for me. And so you're not thinking about these things. Another way that, things can be done too, besides someone actually putting their hands on you, is, it's normally customary for someone to bring either flowers or a dinner even to a funeral. So, that's you saying, hey, I'm sorry for your loss, whatever. But realistically, where's that flower going to end up going? Sometimes it ends up getting spread to the family or whatnot. Well, if you got someone sending something that you've had issues with before, whether it's some petty shit or not. So let's say, they're in the path or maybe they do some kind of witchery no matter what it is. So they are sending something that could potentially end up in your house. That energy gets transferred as soon as you touch it. And then guess what? You're stuck with something or things just don't seem to go right. And you're probably asking yourself, well, how do I protect myself? Well, there's a lot of things you can do. You can do amulets. You can do purification of items before you bring them in your home or before you touch them. Saying like a little prayer over them. would be my suggestion. I'm pretty sure there, like, if you go in depth, there's like other techniques you can do as well. But that would be something that I would suggest. And since we are talking about healing and we are talking about energy and the energy that people put off and the trustingness, you know, that we try to have with those that we go to. And the same thing applies like when you're going to a doctor, you know, in my opinion, because if I'm going to you and I'm seeing you as a healer, because, you know, you went through the shit, you learned all this shit. But if your energy is off, why would I want you touching me? Because that tells me right there that with your energy being off towards me, if you're not listening to me, then that lets me know right there we're not going to be a good fit, and that you're already putting negativity into a situation that's already negative, and that ain't going to help me or anybody else. Now, I know some of us get stuck in a gridlock position because of our insurance, you know, there's only certain doctors that it accepts. I totally get it. Just do what you can, you know what I mean? But bring it up, have that discussion. Sometimes you can even talk to your insurance company and try to work something out. It doesn't really help most of the time, but it is something out there. And, you know, I want to bring up these things as they're coming to mind because, you know, like I've always said, I'm like a squirrel. Everything's sporadic. So I'll connect dots and then I'll go back and I'll reconnect the dots and then it'll all fucking eventually make sense. And then you'll see the picture. It's kind of like those diamond paintings where you know what it's going to look like, but then you get bored of one color because your eyes are like, ugh, and you start with another one. Kind of something like that, right? So, by the way, the eyeliner that I was using is called Auto Eyeliner by LA Black, or LA Colors. It is Bay 440 Black. I don't know if you can see that. But that's what I was using. As far as brushes and stuff, it's cheap-ass brushes. Just look for, you know, what you want. And as far as the eyeshadows, I used the Color Workshop because I'm cheap and I'm poor. So it is what it is. But like I was saying, you know, when we allow certain energies to come into our life, especially, you know, whether it's friendships, whether it's work, no matter if it's a doctor, no matter if it's our religious surroundings, we got to protect ourselves and know what energies we're putting out and also know what energies we are receiving. Because if you get around someone and you either allow them to touch you or start messing with your energy field, then you're opening yourself up to not only that negativity, or sometimes, also another quick lesson, is that when you are doing spell work, sometimes spells require you to touch another person. So, sometimes those who are doing you wrong will come back and be like, I'm so sorry, and you'll hug it out, and next thing you know, your life's going to shit. And then you're talking to them because you worked it out, and you're like, I just don't know what's going on. And you can't figure it out until something starts clicking. So you just need to watch yourself when it comes to this, and there's easy ways to protect yourself. You can imagine a force field, a guiding white of light. You can carry amulets, protection, satchels or sacks. You can do spiritual cleansings, such as bath cleansings, smoke cleansings, water cleansings, oil cleansings. You could even just sit there and just open your mind and imagine like a spiral coming around you and cleansing you. Or sit there, have your feet grounded. Imagine the earth circulating that energy and getting rid of that energy. But we got to just be mindful of the things that we do. So, you know, when we're letting people touch us or whatever it is, I know I've said this more than once, just be careful in what you do. And this is why. Because you never know what someone's intent is. Unless it's someone that you can truly trust and you know there's nothing going on and you know you trust this person with every bit of your core being. It's fine. But if it's somebody that you don't know or somewhere you've never been, don't do it. Just protect yourself. Some people will be like, well, that's crazy. Why would someone go through that much? And here's the thing. Imagine you were working with a demon, okay? Let's say you're working with a demon. This demon requires energy. So to get this energy, you need more than just your energy, because if it was just your energy, you're going to get depleted pretty quick. So you start interacting with people, and every person that you touch, that demon gets part of that energy, which gives them a direct link to that person. That's what it's about. And it's not always demons. I mean, it can be anything, you know what I mean? But that's why there's this, be careful. Now, there's a few other things that eventually I want to talk about when it comes to food and a lot of other stuff. But this is kind of like the basic reason, and kind of like a few analogies thrown in and some personal experience of different things. Also, if I ever have to tell anybody anything, don't ever let someone touch your shit. And here's what I mean. It's different when it's your family or something like that. Sometimes, you know, with the people that you live with, if you say, hey, will you move this for me? You know, that's one thing. But if they're touching things that they shouldn't be touching, you're going to get their energy, and then it may not match your energy. Not only that, if there's people around you that you do not trust and they're trying to touch things like your jewelry, or maybe you're at a public ritual and they're trying to touch your ritual stuff, and you know you're one of those people that go, before that even happens, just cut it off. Be like, hey, this is my stuff. This is my space. I don't mind you looking at it, but you cannot touch it. And set that boundary. And I think that's another thing. Like, we got to set these boundaries. Every time I go out, no matter if it's for a religious gathering, if it's for friends or family, I always envision a certain light around me to protect me. And the more times that I get around people that I get that intuitive, shaky energy, it spirals faster and the colors change within it. So that's kind of one of those things that I personally do within myself. It's a lot of mental mind game, but when you start getting that intuition feeling of this ain't right, something's wrong, something's off, they seem nice, but what I'm getting is the total opposite of what they're saying. So, you know, those are instances where you really got to start listening to that intuition. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. Hopefully you enjoyed. I know I don't do anything like really crazy with my makeup, but it is fun to sit here, be able to put on my face, have conversations with you guys. So once again, Starfire Queen, her channel's going to be down below. Thank you once again, my dear, for inspiring me after this last week. It has been hard for me to have inspiration, and you truly are my sister from another mister, and I love you, and thank you so much. Bye, guys.